The story now, Trade Union Federation Cosatu is holding its 14th National Congress in Midrand today. The elective conference will give leaders a mandate on who to back at the ANC's December gathering. Now, it comes as some unions are not happy with the leadership of President Cyril Ramaphosa. He's been blamed for job losses amid the electricity crisis. The federation will also discuss stalled attempts to realign the alliance. eNCA Silindelo Masikane is at the Congress and joins us this morning. Good morning, Silindelo. A very difficult time for workers that it's been. I mean, we've seen dwindling, perhaps, influence on just labor for them, that it's been collective bargaining has really been dealt a great blow. What are some of the issues that they expect or were expecting to be topping the agenda today?
Of course, this is day one of the 14th National Congress here at Gallagher Estate, being held by Cosatu, which is, of course, South Africa's largest workers federation. And we know, of course, Mfundo, that there are over 2,000 delegates that have been accredited to participate and take part over the next couple of days. I'm going to ask my colleague, Linga Ndabambi, to give you a picture of what we're seeing right now. It's already a hive of activity as we count down to the program beginning at around 9 a.m. this morning. Of course, the theme for this year's Congress is building working class unity for economic liberation towards socialism. And of course, the Congress comes at the back of a pandemic which has caused huge job losses in different sectors in Mfundo. We also know the Federation itself has been facing some difficulties. It's lost over 60,000 members. This is due to retrenchments following COVID-19. But of course, like you said, workers' issues are going to be one of those that's going to be top of the agenda. Socio-economic conditions of the working class being quite difficult and getting even more difficult as the economy struggles to basically rebuild itself. But let's just take a listen to what the outgoing president, that is Ms. Zingiswa Losi, had to say to us this morning with regards to the program and the discussions that are going to be taking place.
This Congress will be discussing the socio-economic issues that are affecting the workers and the working class. They will be discussing organizational issues, because we also need to make an assessment of the state of the organization. Are we an organization that is strong to be able to challenge the issues that workers are confronted with? Because that's the first part. You can say many things, but if you are not a strong organization, you will not be able to deal with these issues. We have seen the issues of the collective bargaining in the public sector and in the private sector being undermined, a lot of excuses being put up, and workers losing wages and no increases, some increases that are less than an inflation. So these are realities that workers are faced with, and this Congress will be discussing on all those issues. But importantly, it will be at the policy level. How are we going to influence the policies that are in favor of the workers? If we are saying we want government to do away with neoliberal policies, what is it that we are suggesting must be put in place? And it must not be about rhetoric, but it must be about content and serious substantive discussions that must inform the outcomes of this Congress.
And Silindelo, what is Cosatu's position on the electricity crisis? Because it not only poses a risk to just ordinary citizens or is a great inconvenience to all of us, it poses a risk to the economy, which in turn poses a risk to the employees because they could possibly lose their jobs.
Of course, it's a burning issue, like you said, not only for South Africans, but workers in general, and its effect on the daily lived experience for workers. Load shedding, these consistent and continuous blackouts that we are experiencing is certainly going to be something that's also going to be discussed to see whether the board, I know in particular speaking to the outgoing president of Cosatu, saying that there are issues that need to be resolved in terms of leadership at Eskom, and that it's going to boil down to some accountability being needed here at this particular point in time. Let's take a listen.
People must account. You can't have excuses every now and again that it is Kusile this, it is this plant. Where are the problems? Who are the people that are supposed to be mending this? So we can't have leadership that there are no consequences. And that's why we expect even the president to act act on the leadership of ESCOM, act on the board, because we can't proceed like this. How do you expect the economy to grow? How do you expect investments to be made on a country that its economy cannot guarantee energy? No investor will have the appetite to come and invest here when you can't guarantee. We move from stage 1 to stage 6 in 6 days. And then you expect that investors will come. So we are here to say, if we want to build this economy, energy is at the center of us being able to do so.
All right, Silindelo, I don't know if perhaps just in closing, Ms. Losi touched on the state of the alliance, because in as much as this is a workers' congress and the issues of the proletariat should be the ones at the center of it, but nevertheless, you would still want to talk about the alliance and whether it's benefited them. Has she perhaps hinted that they will be reflecting on this?
Not at this point. When we spoke to her this morning, we did touch on various issues. One of them, of course, being that ANC elective conference. We know that, of course, the ANC is an alliance partner. And at this point, what we would have expected is that the Cosatu Federation would have announced exactly who they're going to be backing in the run-up to that elective conference in December. But from what we understand from speaking to Ms. Losi is that this Congress in particular will be discussing that, and it will only be this Congress that will decide at the end of it exactly who Cosatu believes it should be backing in terms of the ANC and its leadership. But of course, for now, we just await the beginning of the program. It seems more and more delegates are arriving. We know, of course, like I said, over 2,000 delegates accredited in Mfundo for this Congress. We know that it's quite an important one after 4 years. We know what the situation has been like in the country. The economy is just not doing well, and those suffering, of course, is the working class. So the program expected to start at around 10 a.m. But of course, delegates already starting to arrive, starting to sing, and starting to show some excitement in terms of this week and what it holds for them.
All right, Silindelo, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much for that update. That's Silindelo Masikane, just coming to us from that particular Congress in Midrand. To this now.